CBS presents this program in color.
For more than 70 years, the CBS EYE has stared out from television screens across America and around the world. It has witnessed everything from the rise of television journalism,
good night, and good luck,
This is Walter Cronkite.
to the days of classic sitcoms.
It's so tasty, too.
Unlike many logos, the EYE has remained practically unchanged across those decades. It's as effective on a smartphone today as it was on a bulky TV during the Korean War. But did you know this famous logo is actually a religious folk symbol meant to ward off evil spirits? I'm Michael Cahill. Keep your eyes open as we peer into the surprising story behind the CBS EYE. Television was exploding into American homes by the early 1950s. Ownership skyrocketed from roughly 20% of households to an incredible 90%. TV was fast becoming the dominant medium of the modern age. For years, the Columbia Broadcasting System had been rooted in radio. But now, TV demanded its own identity. One that could separate CBS television from its radio network, and more importantly, distinguish them from their two rivals. CBS television did have an emblem, the stark CBS letters set against a nondescript background and illuminated by a sweeping searchlight. It was an adequate design, though largely forgettable. CBS President Frank Stanton was unimpressed. If CBS wanted to lead in this new era, he knew they needed a symbol that could do more than simply identify the network. CBS cultivated an image of refinement and prestige. This philosophy eventually earned them the nickname the Tiffany Network, a reference to the luxury jeweler. Frank Stanton wanted the new logo to match that same high-quality standard. The responsibility of finding such a logo fell to William Golden. Golden had joined CBS in 1937 and worked his way up to creative director of advertising and sales promotion by 1951. He ended up finding his inspiration for the logo far from the corporate boardroom. While driving through Pennsylvania Dutch country, Golden noticed striking symbols painted across the sides of rural barns. Hex signs, many resembling stylized human eyes. These images came from the Shakers, a small religious community known for their extreme simplicity. Their hex symbols were intended to ward off evil spirits. Golden became intrigued. His fascination only deepened when he came across the first issue of Portfolio magazine, which featured an 8-page spread of Shaker illustrations, including a distinctive eye symbol. Golden collaborated with graphic artist Kurt Wise to refine the folk art concept. The result was a perfectly balanced, abstract eye, a bold oval form with a centered pupil that would become known as the Eyemark. Golden presented 3 logo concepts to a room full of CBS stakeholders. By his own account, the reception was lukewarm, but only one reaction mattered. Frank Stanton immediately saw the eye's power. Launched in the same legendary fall of 1951 that introduced I Love Lucy and Edward R. Murrow's See It Now, the emblem was a composite photo of the Eyemark against a cloud-filled sky. As we saw in my previous video exploring the DreamWorks logo, clouds are a recurring motif in movie emblems, symbolizing imagination and wonder. It's no surprise that CBS would initially look to channel that same tradition. But the image of a giant eye peering through a sky of clouds bore a striking resemblance to the false mirror, a famous painting by René Magritte. At the time, The painting was on display at the Museum of Modern Art, just blocks away from the CBS offices. Magritte reportedly considered a lawsuit, although other sources say that he had no problem with the similarity. Regardless, CBS took no chances and quietly dropped the cloud background. From there, the Eyemark appeared on all sorts of things. Ironically, just 1 year after creating it, Golden suggested retiring the Eye logo for a new design, concerned that repetition had dulled its impact. But Frank Stanton, the man who chose the Eye out of a room of lukewarm stakeholders, stopped him cold. The CBS president imparted some key marketing wisdom. Just when you're beginning to get bored with what you've done is when it's beginning to get noticed. So, the Eye stayed. After Golden's death in 1959, the Eye's stewardship passed to CBS creative director Lou Dorfman, who helped carry the concept forward. In an early animated version, the pupil functioned like a camera iris, opening and closing as if the network itself was focusing on the world. During this critical era, a war was being fought between CBS and NBC that had nothing to do with ratings or scripts. It was a war over who would win the color revolution. CBS and RCA, NBC's powerful parent company, were locked in a bitter race to define the national color standard in the United States. That meant whoever won would control the future of television technology itself. CBS had the superior color image. Its engineers developed a field sequential color system that relied on a spinning color wheel to produce rich and vivid hues, far more impressive than anything on the market at the time. In October 1950, the FCC even approved the CBS system as the official US standard. But there was one massive flaw. The CBS system was incompatible with the millions of black and white television sets already sitting in American homes. If you owned one of those TVs, a CBS color broadcast would appear as nothing more than a blank screen. RCA, meanwhile, was developing an all-electronic system. Though producing a slightly inferior image, the system was compatible with those millions of black and white sets, allowing them to watch a color broadcast in grayscale. By December 1953, the FCC reversed course and adopted the RCA system as the standard. CBS had lost the color war. Not only that, they were forced to use their rivals' technology. Angered by the loss, CBS engineers were known to scratch off RCA logos from their cameras. For years, the network produced far less color programming than NBC. Backed by RCA manufacturing television sets, NBC aggressively promoted color as a selling point, using its multi-hued peacock as a marketing tool. CBS rolled out a color version of the Eyemark with this interesting variation. Set against a clean white background, the familiar eye shape remained, but the pupil was transformed into a ring of multicolored shapes. The effect was like a kaleidoscope, but ultimately CBS chose to streamline the design, favoring a more understated approach. In the 1960s, CBS opted for a subtle palette, the C in green, the B in blue, and the S in red, which just happened to be the three foundational colors of the television signal itself, with the Eyemark rendered in a sharp orange, yellow, or white, all set against a simple black background. As computer technology improved, CBS debuted digital versions of the Eyemark, remaining faithful to Bill Golden and Kurt Wise's original design. By the early 2000s, the logo seamlessly transitioned into the age of high definition. Rather than appearing dated, the Eyemark's perfect balance and simplicity meant it looked better than ever. In 1998, the New York Times Magazine named the CBS Eye one of the greatest design achievements of the 20th century. Time magazine later echoed the sentiment in 2011, writing that in CBS's case, sometimes companies get it right the first time. Today, the future of network television is up in the air. Heck, the entire media landscape itself is changing in ways Bill Golden and Frank Stanton couldn't possibly have imagined. Platforms will rise and fall. The way we consume stories will continue to evolve. But it's a safe bet that 70 years from now, the Eyemark will remain, unchanged and unblinking, a symbol that may very well outlive the medium. I'm Michael Cahill. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time in the Logoverse.
You're watching